Belgrade, 1:24 a.m. For unpaid envelopes under a cracked ashtray. Your brother's discharge paper. A cheap phone. One number saved as Milan. You do not join because you want power. You join because winter is coming and the landlord already changed the lock once. Level 1 Lookout. You're 18 and you are not trusted with anything that matters. You stand outside cafes in New Belgrade. You wait near parking garages by the Sava. You watch who enters, who leaves, who lingers too long. You memorize faces you are told to forget. You pass small messages and never ask what they mean. Your power is almost nothing. But now older men know your name, and that is its own kind of gravity. Your risk begins before your reward does. The wrong glance from plainclothes police can follow you home. If you fail, you are not beaten first. You are erased first. You learn that silence is worth more than courage. Then your first task goes wrong outside a tobacconist in Zeman, and you only survive because the car that should have stopped keeps driving. Level 2 Runner. You're 19, and now they let you carry things without telling you what they are. You move sealed envelopes across the city. You sit in buses with your hands still. You leave packages in stairwells that smell like damp concrete and bleach. You collect cash from men who never smile. You return short and quiet, with your eyes lowered. Your power rises because you are now inside the rhythm. You are no longer watching the machine. You are one of its moving parts. Your risk rises because mistakes can now be counted. A missing envelope has a weight. So does a delayed handoff. If you fail, they do not ask for explanations. They ask who else you spoke to. You stop thinking of the city as streets and start thinking of it as pressure points. Then one night, near the E75, blue lights bloom behind the windshield, and you learn how fast your pulse can outrun your face. Level 3 Initiated Soldier. You're 21 when they stop calling you boy. The room is above a closed bedding shop. One bare bulb hums. The air smells like stale smoke, old coffee, and wet wool. A silver icon rests beside a pistol that is never touched. A glass is placed in front of you, but no one drinks. You swear to men you barely know. You kiss a cross, a ring, or a family image depending on whose circle claimed you. You repeat a promise that sounds older than the room. You feel the silence after your last word, and it is heavier than the oath itself. Your power changes shape. You are no longer disposable in the same way. You are now bound. Your risk changes shape too. What follows you now is not just fear. It is obligation. If you fail, punishment becomes personal. Your weakness stains the men who vouched for you. You begin to understand that belonging is only another form of ownership. Then they hand you a debt ledger from Niche and tell you to make a man remember what he owes. Level 4 Enforcer. You're 23, and your face starts opening doors that used to stay shut. You visit garages behind shuttered repair shops. You sit in back rooms above cafes on the Adriatic route. You stand beside men who speak softly while others shake. You collect fear before you collect money. You are sent where messages must be felt, not heard. Your power comes from proximity to violence. People stop looking at your hands and start watching your eyes. Your risk becomes immediate. Rival crews in Podgorica, Sarajevo, or Skopje do not care who sent you. If you fail, the debt does not vanish. It transfers to your body. You stop flinching at raised voices, which is how you know something inside you has already left. Then a friend you came up with is given the wrong address on purpose, and only you notice that the mistake was planted. Level 5 Collector. You're 26, and now violence is not your main function. You keep accounts in your head. You visit construction offices, clubs, and freight firms. You sit with owners who insist everything is legal. You count what comes in and what disappears. You decide who gets one more week and who does not get tomorrow. Your power grows because money outlasts muscle. You become useful to men who never step outside for meetings. Your risk grows because ledgers create trails. A prosecutor can build a life from scraps of paper and one frightened witness. If you fail, missing money becomes theft, even when it began as confusion. And theft is judged more coldly than panic. You learn that numbers can frighten people more than guns. Then a customs seizure on the Adriatic coast freezes 3 streams of income at once, and everybody starts looking for the leak without saying the word. Level 6 Fixer. You're 29, and you no longer spend your nights on corners. You meet lawyers in quiet restaurants. You speak to nightclub owners who need permits. You hear which inspector is transferring, which judge is under review, which officer has started asking the wrong questions. You arrange introductions without appearing in photographs. You smooth over disputes between cousins, clans, and impatient younger crews. Your power becomes administrative. You are now closest to the part of the machine that wears a clean shirt. Your risk becomes invisible. Phones are captured. Offices are watched. Bank records travel farther than loyalties do. If you fail, nobody shouts. Meetings simply continue without you. You begin to fear paperwork more than funerals. Then Europol names a regional network in a briefing. Arrests start landing across borders, and the old men suddenly stop using your real name even in empty rooms. Level 7, Lieutenant. You're 33, and now you command people instead of errands. You divide neighborhoods. You settle disputes between cells in Belgrade, Kotar, and Rotterdam. You decide which young men are hungry enough to use and stable enough to keep. You hear rumors from prisons before newspapers print them. You carry messages upward and consequences downward. Your power is real now. Others rise or disappear based on what you report. Your risk is total. Rivals want your chair. Allies want proof you deserve it. Agencies want one weeknight. If you fail, it is no longer your hand they take away. It is your name. You become suspicious of affection because every friendship starts to look like a future statement. Then the planted mistake from years ago returns as a loyalty check, and the friend who survived it vanishes after a meeting you were told not to attend. Level 8, Boss. You're 38, and the noise around you goes quiet. You never touch what is traded. You do not carry cash. You sit in villas above the coast, in apartments with thick curtains, in private rooms where televisions stay muted. You approve alliances. You absorb panic during crackdowns. You choose who takes the blame when a route closes, when a shipment is lost, when a body appears where it should not. Your power is distance. You rule by absence, delay, and the fear of being remembered by you. Your risk is isolation. Every call can be recorded. Every cousin can be pressured. Every driver can become a witness. If you fail, nobody rescues you. The structure survives by pretending you were never the structure. You stop sleeping like a man and start waiting like a building with lights left on. Then just before dawn in a house outside bar, the gate camera dies, the dogs bark once, and the walls fill with boots, shouted orders, splintered wood, and the white flash of a warrant. You are taken in a tracksuit, phones and evidence bags, documents spread under fluorescent light, a courtroom sketch instead of a photograph, years measured in hearings, appeals, and transfers, silence from men who once stood when you entered. In the end, the rank is not the throne. It is the distance between your first desperate call and the day nobody answers yours.